My dad thinks everything is a conspiracy. He was like, yeah, I saw on the internet some aliens crashed in Minnesota. Only one survived. Now they're trying to communicate with it, find out their secrets, what they want, why they're here. I was like, Dad, Somalians, they're Somalians.
It is the BJ Show. Today's date is Monday, TGIM, December 22nd. John Combest, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Brad Hildebrand.
You know, I have to be honest with you. I don't know what that was. I have to be honest with you. It's sort of lonely with the weekend without you, because the fact I can't talk with you about things. I can't have you insult me and things like that. It just gets sort of lonely.
Well, don't you have AI voices of me for that, Brad?
They're not very good at insulting. At least the ones I have.
Brad, it's going to be kind of a lonely week because we have today and tomorrow, and we're not going to do a a Christmas Eve show.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. Okay, that is John Combest, Combest. You can check out his website at johncombest.com. And what will you find there? You'll find all sorts of interesting links. Nothing fancy because the website is done in a very fast-loading version of the web. What version is that, John?
0.0.
Every single day he puts together this incredible list, but the problem is sometimes it's info overload and you have to determine which ones are the most important stories. But we do that for you. Actually, John does it for you every morning. We bring in this guy right here. Your name again, sir?
I'm Casey Kasem.
And what's your job again? What do you do?
We're on our way to the number one.
And we start with?
In third place.
Straight from Brad's lips, pause, to St. Louis Public Radio's ears. On Friday, you, Brad, were complimenting MoDOT on their progress on the I-70 widening project. This is a time of year when a lot of people get wider, but MoDOT's doing it intentionally with I-70 with a whole lot of funds, a big ambitious plan. And on Friday, as we discussed US 61 and the work that will be done eventually on that highway, you talked about how great the progress appeared to be on I-70. And today, St. Louis Public Radio, via content creator Sarah Kellogg, confirmed that with a few MoDOT quotes. The headline from St. Louis Public Radio: MoDOT says I-70 expansion is about 15% complete. Now, here's a great quote from a gentleman from MoDOT, Improve I-70 Director Eric Kopinski. He says, quote, from the general citizen's perspective, you're saying they haven't really completed a lot of work. But with projects of these sizes, the hardest part is always getting started, getting contracts awarded, procuring material, completing the final design. And Mr. Kopinski said that in the next 18 months, he thinks the construction progress will quickly increase. He also said the Improve I-70 project is currently both on time and on budget. Well, that sure seems strange, Brad. I mean, since when are government projects on time? And I would be remiss if I didn't point out that this gentleman says, hey, as always, one of the biggest dangers we have is that as lanes get a little narrower, people keep their speed the same. They don't slow down. It can be quite dangerous. So slow down, Shelley Barr, as you're going through a construction zone. Brad, straight from your lips on Friday to St. Louis Public Radio reporting on good progress on I-70.
Well, John, I wasn't going to say anything about that, but Elaine Cha and I become sort of an item. You know what I'm saying? And
oh, yeah. Are you hinting at a little pillow talk? How close do you have to get to her to actually hear her speak, Brad?
You have to get your ear has to be within 2 millimeters of her mouth to hear her say anything. So,
well, Brad, you've been known to have to get very close to a mouth to have anything done. Now, I'll tell you, I think we can reveal that when you listen to Brad's top three and we get to number one, the woman's quote where she says, now, Brad's big finish, it's actually Elaine Shaw, but you had to 1,000x her decibels. Because she originally said, now, Brad's Big Finish. And he added a little music to it, and we had the Brad's Top 3 intro.
That's right, we did. Oh. See, have you driven out there, Wes? Have you driven out there at all?
Yeah, I haven't been much. I haven't been past Wentzville, but in the last, let's say, year, there have been a few times where I've gone to Wentzville and up 61. I haven't, Brad, I don't go to Jeff City. I'm not one of these state legislators. I was waiting for an Adam Schnelting line. Nope, I haven't been past Wentzville on 70 in a long time.
Well, even the 4064, highway where they're putting in an additional lane in each direction, that's making great progress as well, too. I mean, they're really so many times, like you talked about, it takes forever for them to get anything going. Not this time, man. They just got right on top of it. You ready for number 2?
I am, but hold on. I will say one thing. They're preparing for the fact they've heard a lot of Brad Hildebrand's propaganda at Westplex.com via the Westplex Chamber. And they heard that there is a chance that the Westplex could become the 46th biggest area, Brad. It's only number 47 right now.
You're making fun of me. Do you like my new videos I'm doing, by the way, the Westplex?
I think they're so good, Brad. And I love the fact that there's a real, sincere time demand on there, because we're getting, I shouldn't say you are getting close to having 100 members, and people can still join for free by joining the Westplex Chamber. After 100 members, you're going to have to start paying. I'll send you a new one today. Okay, ready for number 2?
And here
let's
they
do it.
are.
I hit the wrong button. Okay, here we go.
Up a notch to number 2.
Some good news this time of year. A little bit of heartwarming news, which we could all use. A headline from the Washington Missourian over the weekend. Efforts underway to bring baby box to Union. I think most people are familiar with the concept of safety boxes, safe haven boxes at places like ambulance districts, firehouses, things like that. The newsy piece of this, there's 2 really. This year, Missouri passed a law, and I believe it was sponsored by State Representative Jim Murphy. It's not mentioned in this particular piece, but I believe State Representative Jim Murphy from South St. Louis County was the sponsor of the bill. And the state would essentially chip in $10,000 if an ambulance district or a firehouse or a region got their stuff together and had plans to have a safe haven box where parents can drop off a child that they feel that they cannot care for, and they would have a safe place to take this baby. They wouldn't have to worry about being charged with child abandonment or anything like that. They could drop a baby off and the baby would be safe and warm and essentially incubated for at least an overnight period of time or whatever. I'll cut to the chase though, Brad. Here in Union, Nikki Holdmeyer, who works for the Missouri Department of Social Services Children's Division, and the Union Ambulance District's Assistant Chief, Kayla Herman, have come together. They're raising $25,000 for a safe haven baby box. Now, Ms. Holdmeyer, who works for the state, says that she's on a panel, and she's seen so many child fatalities where a child is, brought up in a home where the parents, quite frankly, aren't ready to raise a kid. She's quite passionate about this topic, and she's been involved in getting some of these safe haven baby boxes in other parts of town, including in Bell. And the closest one, I believe, Mr. Parker points out in here, the closest other ones are in Eureka and in Bell. And Ms. Holdmeyer played a large role in getting the Bell location built earlier this year. So anyway, Brad, one of these, it looks like, will be coming to Union. So these ladies got together and they decided, let's do a little fundraising campaign. Let's raise awareness for this. And I looked up the stats, Brad, and in Missouri, these have only officially been a thing since 2023. So it looks like it's been around for 2 years. And 4 babies that we know of in Missouri have been dropped off at safe haven boxes, have been kept safe and warm and incubated, et cetera, for however many hours or minutes until someone discovers them and brings them in. And one of those babies that was saved was an O'Fallon, Brad.
Okay, so is there an alarm or something like that? Or somebody just have to go out and check it from time to time?
Yeah, I think so. So what it is as it's described in here, so I'm not an expert on this, but you have to have a certain amount of, I guess there's like a certain window thing, and then there's like, here's what it says. She said the temperature of the box is monitored and kept constant no matter the time of year. Sensors automatically let first responders know when a child is inside while locking the access door to prevent anyone besides first responders from getting in. So I think it's essentially, I mean, gosh, Brad, I guess we could use an analogy of like a safe deposit box door or something where you would drop something in at a bank. And then there's a sensor and then it's a warm environment and then someone's alerted to it.
Interesting. John, I know I speak for both of us. You've got 4 kids, or excuse me, you have 3 kids. I have 4. I can never imagine giving up one of my kids. Can you?
I know. Can you imagine that? And I don't mean to cut you short, Brad, but like there's certainly, we know people who give children up for adoption. They feel they're not ready to raise a child. But the idea of just dumping a child off and saying, good luck, kid. I mean, just I struggle for words. It's just inhumane.
Can I give you my analogy?
Please do, Brad.
This is my crazy, weird Brad analogy. If this were a baby, and let's say the sensor went off, and someone checked it, go, oh, we got a kid dropped off. And then they say, oh, what are we going to do with the kid? Well, we can't. Nobody will take the kid. But if this were a dog, and they dropped the dog off, there would be 400 people show up at the fire station, wherever the boxes were, and say, I'll adopt it. We got to save that dog.
And there would be 1,000 people on Nextdoor and Facebook clamoring to get putting their resume up of why they should have that pet.
Right. Isn't that sad?
It is sad, Brad. Hey, you know what is even more inspirational, though? I picked story number 1 just for you, Brad.
Okay. It's probably something you're going to make fun of me about, but you know what? I enjoy that. Here we go.
The number 1.
You can tell I'm getting soft on Brad around the holidays, pardon the expression, because I choose a story that's not making fun of Brad, but maybe we'll get Brad's goat a little bit. Brad, we have an inspirational story from Columbia, Missouri, that I think you and I both hope spreads to St. Louis. Here's a headline from the Columbian Missourian this weekend. MU library employees, strike number 1 for Brad, file petition to unionize for better wages and benefits. The folks working at the libraries at the University of Missouri, and gosh, we can hope this spreads to UMSL, but on the Mizzou campus, non-management employees say they have had it. They need better wages, Brad. They need to be ensured that they can get time off, that their paid leave doesn't make them feel like they got to come into work if they got the sniffles or something. I'm adding editorial commentary right here now. I shouldn't. I'll just tell you what the story says. Library employees at the University of Missouri filed a petition earlier this month to unionize with the State Board of Mediation. Around 90 non-management employees, including librarians, library information specialists, and circulation employees, bookshelvers, that's my word, across campus have organized for better wages, benefits, and working conditions, says Andrew Hutchinson, lead kneecapper, union thug, joking, and organizing director for the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 955. And I'll cut to the chase. Mizzou has a choice. They can voluntarily recognize this union and give them the rights they deserve. Or the University of Missouri can be a bunch of jerks and call for an election to see if the people who are actually shelving books, doing information, data entry, etc., actually want to pay union dues. But let's hope that Mizzou won't be jerks about it, Brad. And let's hope this organizing effort is successful. And let's hope the unionization of our hardworking librarians in higher education can maybe come to the University of Missouri of St. Louis. What do you think, Brad?
You really want me to tell you, John?
I do, Brad. Now, you're a big fan of librarians. You're a big fan of people in higher education. And you believe that maybe unions were never necessary, but there's never been a time for them to be more necessary than today. Did I capture your position right, Brad?
I don't have a problem with unions. I understand unions. I was a member of 2 unions, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 4, which is the broadcast union. I was an AFTER for a while. Matter of fact, for probably 5 or 6 years, I was American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, which is now SAG-AFTRA. I get the union thing, but I don't think that government agencies should be unionized. I think that's wrong. Because of the fact that first off, you already have the not implied bias, but the executed bias is that the unions are predominantly for Democrats. And, let's be honest. I mean, what was the big news this past election cycle? What was it? The Teamsters gave some money to Trump, and that was like...
and let's not forget, they gave $5,000 to Josh Hawley Hoffa.
Right. And that was like, oh my God. Do you know what...
Yeah, people... And let me interrupt, Brad. I disagree, because I think air traffic controllers on a whim should be able to not show up to work. I think they should be unionized, and if they're mad about something at any given moment, they should be able to walk off the job.
John, here's my situation. If the conditions are that bad that you need to bring in a union, you need to just find a different job. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like
I get
just like the baristas. Remember, we want better treatment by Starbucks, and what's the latest one? They're going after Caldi. I don't get it.
Well, in their defense, though, Caldi stopped supplying the coffee workers with free hair dye. So sometimes girls go in with purple hair in the morning, and then if they work a double shift, by the time the shift ends, kind of the chalk they put in their hair has already gone a little bit more blue.
Well, I also understand that what they wanted to have another person in each one of both the Starbucks and the Caldis. They wanted to have a full-time tattoo artist, so that way when things slow down, they can get another tattoo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I thought that sentence was going in the direction of the women that worked there wanted another. You said they wanted another man, and I thought you were going to say they wanted another man inside something.
No, I would never say that.
You wouldn't
John
speak like
would
that.
say
Brad.
Things like that, but I wouldn't.
Brad, I had someone who cares about our show, which is a tiny universe. It's mostly you and I. But someone asked me if you've actually scheduled your gallbladder surgery yet. And I thought it was a touching question, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask you that.
John, can I say something?
Please do.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay, let's talk about it tomorrow. I would love to. I just want you to know, Brad, that not only do I care about you, but people who you've never met and who you don't really know ask me about, hey, is Brad going to be okay? Like he hasn't. And they even noted, Brad, that in the middle of last week, you talked about getting a surgery scheduled. And then I was so selfish that on Friday, I didn't even ask what the status of it was. So yes, let's talk about it tomorrow, because I would love to hear.
Okay. And by the way, I forget to do this at the top of the show. Only a couple more days, today, tomorrow, and then Wednesday. Get out there. If you see the bell ringers, hear the bell ringers, put some money in the kettle. Salvation Army does so good for so many people. I know there's some people that don't like it because of the religion component, but let me tell you, I have witnessed it up front and personal. They do so good for so many people, and typically people who are really, really, really down in their luck, the Salvation Army has turned their lives around. So drop some money in the kettle. Come on. And even to the point, if you say, I don't carry cash, they got a little QR code right there.
They got a QR code, Brad. I would commend your commitment to this, Brad, because most people think you're ringing a bell. You actually have earrings and the shape of a bell and you shake your head. That's what you're doing right now.
John, it's sort of funny. I don't know how many years ago, and I'm not bragging when I say this, I did not want this. I mean, I was the chairman of the bell ringing thing for St. Charles County for years. And one year they got me like a big, monstrous brass bell that they had engraved with my name and thanks and all that kind of stuff. And I found it the other day. Actually, I found it in one of my cars. It was in one of my it was a little storage area I had back there. And you're going to laugh when I tell you this, but I'm most upset because the clapper's missing.
Oh, yeah. And think of the days of the 70s when you went to the doctor for the clapper.
Right, the clapper's missing. Okay, so I can't ring that bell. Okay, we have to take a break. We'll be right back.